Hey, what's up guys? My name is Philip. I'm coming to you today. I'm going to talk about how to do a stainless steel brake line install on a G20 BMW. In my case it's a 2022 BMW 330i. Got a stainless steel brake line kit, both front and rear, from Bimmerworld. I got this in conjunction with doing my brakes. And I quickly learned that there is no information online about how to do stainless steel brake line swap on a G20. There's some information on F-Series, there's a little bit on M3s, but it's not the same as the G20. So we're going to go through the whole deal. So here's where I'm at so far. I actually did the brake job already, and I painted the brakes lime green with a G2 Motorsports ceramic kit. I got that off of Amazon. It was like 70 bucks. So I didn't make a install video on how to do the brakes because, well, I'm going to be honest, there's some really good stuff online. I used the FCP Euro install guide, and that's better than anything I'd be making, so there didn't seem a point in me documenting actually painting the calipers or installing the brakes. But for the stainless lines, yeah, there's no info on that, so that's what we're going to do. So the very first thing, obviously after you get the car up on jacks, this is the front brake line, and it goes up behind this cover. So we have to get this out in order to get to that brake line. We're going to take these 10mm bolts. There's actually 15 10mm screws holding this piece in. Should just be able to wiggle it and jimmy it out. Alright, there we go. Inner fender well out. This is it right here. So it was held on by 15 10mm screws. What's interesting is, check this out. You can see this is a duct that goes right into my grill. So these cars actually have a brake cooling duct built into them. And that's just on the 330. We're not even talking about the M340 or the M3. Plain old 330's got a brake cooling duct. Who knew? But at this point now I can see my line. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop this off. So this is a retaining tab. So let's get that out, and then we'll go to changing the line. We had to remove this right here. So this is the bracket it was in. And this thing's actually rubber. I noticed my replacement lines don't have that. It's got a rubber grommet, but it doesn't have this weird clip thing that goes on these ears. So I used a screwdriver. They're pretty tight, but after I pop those, this comes free and nice and easy. So this is what I need. The next thing I'm going to do is I've got a drip pan underneath, because this is going to drip. Take our line out. We're going to disconnect in 2 spots. This is going to be the first right here. That's on the caliper itself. The other part, and this is why we had to take this fender well off, is right here. Both of these fittings are 11s. I checked it. And this is what we want to use. We want to use a flare wrench. So you use this for brake lines, fuel lines. You do not want to strip this line. Your problems increase exponentially. This was a whopping, I think, $9 at O'Reilly's. I want to be very deliberate in my actions. I want to take the old line off and then immediately put the new line on. This will continuously drip, and if I were to drain out my master cylinder reservoir, I can end up getting there in the ABS, and then we've got like a whole new issue. We're going to start with the top, and then we'll go to the bottom here. Alright, so once again, we're going to start with the upper line. I did double check the reservoir and make sure it was full of fluid. And I'll be honest, this is kind of slow going. It's going to start leaking here in just a moment. Here it goes. I checked the reservoir after the first line, and it really didn't make much difference at all in the reservoir volume, so we're not losing large amounts of fluid here. But don't want to go out to eat and come back and do this another day with the brake line undone, because eventually it creates air bubbles in the ABS unit, and that will become a much bigger issue. Alright, so we'll keep working on it. Probably not that stiff now. There we go. So the next line we're going to remove is the brake line, and that's this one right here. Same 11mm. And at this point, now that it's loose, I can just switch to plain old 11mm if I want. A little bit easier for getting this out. There we go. I finally got where I can move it by hand, and that's it. There's our line. So my new line, we're gonna once it's no longer hand tight, we'll continue to tighten with the 11mm. In this case, like I said, we're just using the 11mm open end, which I'm not sweating because when I'm worried about stripping these things is when I'm initially breaking the torque on them. And we do want this to be G&T good and tight. Alright. And now we're going to put our upper bolt in place. That's pretty retard tight. Alright, so that's all there is to it. That's the front done. And it's time to move on to the back. Alright, moving on to the rear. We've got good news and bad news on this one. So the good news is I can get to my upper line nice and easy. The bad news is I'm definitely going to have to rotate this caliper. There's like tons of crap in the way, and there's no way to ever be able to get a wrench in there. And that one actually looks like it's going to be a 14mm. Also, it did have a clip that was holding it in place, but the nice thing is this clip, it didn't have anything, like no kind of retainers holding it in, so that was nice. So this caliper is held in by 2 bolts. The front's at 13s, the rears are 14. As I move this out of the way, there we go, I can see my line right there. That's the one we're going to be disconnecting. So first things first, we're going to break that 11mm line, same as we have on the front. Looks like the new one's a little bit bigger diameter, maybe a 15. Yep, it's a 15. So again, crank the living snit out of it because I don't want it coming undone. the caliper back in place before I... Alright, everything's looking good so far. Let's finish cranking her down. Now the final thing we're going to do was, in order to get to this bolt, we had to disconnect these two. These are the caliper bolts for the floating caliper. These are going to get torqued to 35 Newton meters. So I'll cinch them down normally first. Alright, all torqued up. So we got all 4 of our stainless steel lines installed. Well, the next thing we have to do is bleed the brakes. With the Motive power bleeder, where I can do it one person. Here's my Motive power bleeder. I'm going to pump this up to 15 psi. I had 2 liters of power steering fluid in it, .4. Motive power bleeder has a different cap that hooks up to the master cylinder. When we bleed these brakes, we start with the farthest point from the master cylinder, which is the passenger side rear corner. I did that one off camera because I didn't have much space on that part of the car. And I'll show you how we do it here for the driver's side rear brake, and then the rest of them are the same. So I got my Motive power bleeder hooked up in the front of the car. Like I said before, we do 15 pounds, and it is full of 2 liters of .4 synthetic brake fluid. I have an 11 millimeter wrench, and this is attached to my bleeder, and coming out of my bleeder I have a hose going in this little tiny container. So I'm going to crack open my bleeder, and once it's cracked I'm going to see fluid coming out. Okay, so as the fluid comes out, it's not going to come out in a big torrent, but you can see I already have fluid starting to form, and I'm getting the air out of the system from in my stainless steel lines, and then I'm also flushing the old fluid out of the system as well. So this is the same exact deal that I did on the right rear, passenger side rear to driver's side rear, then we go passenger side front, and then finally the driver's side front. So everything is based on how far away you are from the master cylinder. So I'm going to let this continue to drain for a little bit. Now, like I said, everything's under pressure, so actually if I pop the line out for a second, I have a bucket underneath, nothing's going to like go bad. It's going to create a little bit of a leak there, but then I can cinch this on and get my fluid out. When I put everything back together, I use an 11 mil socket, so instead of the open end, I use the socket because I can crank down a little tighter and I can ensure that that's totally closed up. So you can see my fluid coming out. It's looking kind of grody. We're going to continue to let it drain until I have like pretty much nice clear fluid. So I'm going to let this go until this little container's full, and I'm going to dump it and fill it up again. So I'm looking for cleaner fluid, but I can already tell by the fluid in the line I don't see any air bubbles, so I know I've actually gotten the air out of the system already. And at this point we're done with this, so I'm going to drop this down. I've got my 11 millimeter socket, and I'm going to cinch this closed real quick. And my brake fluid is not too bad, a little bit dirty, but I'm going to dump this in the bucket, and we're going to do this again. We're down to our final brake rotor. So I showed you one of the rears. I did the front passenger side off camera because, once again, space is tight in my garage. So we're going to show the final one. This is the front driver side. I'm going to be honest, these front ones are way easier to get to than the passenger side. So I can just slide my 11 mil right over the bleeder, and then I'm going to plug in my catch can, crack it open. I've got the Motive bleeder. Zoom in on it. She's set to 15 psi, so I'll probably have 1.5 liters of fluid in it. I'm going to be honest, I put 2 liters in. I think you could have easily gotten away with 1 liter for doing a complete brake flush. Alright, so I'm going to plug my hose in that's hooked up to my bleeder. I'm going to crack this open, my 11 millimeter. And there we go, we can see the fluid coming. So I do expect to get a little bit of air out of it, and after the air, I'm just going to let it drain for a while. Brake fluid change, so you can see right here. Here it is, and it's slowly filling up. So here's my container. And you can see how it's filling up quickly. So this is the last one we're doing. I want to make sure the brake fluid looks clear. It's looking pretty good already. I'm going to fill this container to the rim. We're going to close the bleeder. And at this point, I'm going to consider a brake bleed done. So once again, that was my final bleed right there. And this task is complete. Actually, when I said we'd done everything before, I lied. We have to depressurize the motor power bleeder. So it's real easy. How we depressurize it is we literally just lightly turn the cap, and that lets our pressure out. And the cool thing is it sucks the fluid, or at least most of it, back into the canister. So I just need to take the cap off and not make a stinking mess, and then I'll put the excess brake fluid back in the container that I got it from. So anyways, if you made it this far, I appreciate y'all watching. I hope maybe some of y'all found this helpful, and until next time, y'all take care. See you.